If you're concerned that artificial intelligence might soon replace your job, you're not alone. The AI revolution is already underway, and by 2030, nearly a third of current tasks could be automated. Many will resist this change, clinging to old ways and risking obsolescence. But others will see this as an unprecedented opportunity to harness AI, diversify their income, and achieve greater freedom and flexibility in their work and life. This book isn't about surviving the coming changes, it's about thriving in them. In AI Will Take Your Job, you'll discover practical strategies to transform your fear of AI into your most valuable asset. You'll learn how to identify hidden opportunities before others see them, continuously stack skills that make you irreplaceable, and leverage your efforts into automated income streams. Most importantly, you'll master the art of building wealth that not only endures, but grows stronger amidst market volatility. Whether you're tech-savvy or simply worried about staying relevant in an AI-driven world, the tools and insights you'll find here will empower you to future-proof your income. Your future with AI begins now. Chapter 1, Shockwave Ahead. Your phone buzzes at 3 a.m. Another urgent email from your boss. Another fire to put out. Another reminder that you're trapped in the hamster wheel of trading hours for dollars while the world shifts beneath your feet. Here's the brutal truth. While you've been grinding away at your desk, artificial intelligence has been quietly learning to do your job. And it's getting scary good at it. McKinsey's latest research drops a bombshell. 30% of current work tasks will be automated by 2030. That's not some distant sci-fi fantasy. That's 72 months from now, less time than it takes to pay off a car loan. But here's what the headlines miss. This isn't just about job losses. It's about the greatest wealth transfer in human history. Those who understand leverage will capture exponential gains. Those who don't will watch their careers evaporate. The question isn't whether AI will reshape your industry. It's whether you'll be the one wielding the tool or replaced by it. The automation avalanche is already here. Let's cut through the noise. Large language models aren't coming. They're here. Right now, AI systems are writing marketing copy, analyzing legal documents, generating code, and managing customer service at Fortune 500 companies. The routine tasks that fill your day, they're vanishing faster than you think. Data entry, basic analysis, report generation, scheduling, even creative work like graphic design, all being absorbed by algorithms that work 24/7 without sick days or salary negotiations. Consider this. A single AI system can now process more customer inquiries in an hour than most human teams handle in a week. It doesn't need coffee breaks, vacation time, or health insurance. It just executes relentlessly and cheaply. The middle class is being hollowed out from both ends. Low-skill jobs disappear to automation. High-skill jobs get compressed as AI handles the technical heavy lifting. What's left? A shrinking band of roles that require uniquely human judgment, creativity, and relationship skills. But here's the plot twist. While automation destroys traditional jobs, it creates unprecedented opportunities for those who know how to harness it. The leverage revolution. Every technological revolution creates two groups, the displaced and the empowered. The printing press put scribes out of work but created publishers. The internet killed travel agents but birthed Amazon. AI follows the same pattern, but with one crucial difference. The leverage is available to individuals, not just corporations. For the first time in history, a solo entrepreneur can command the same computational power that required entire departments just 5 years ago. You can automate customer service, generate content, analyze markets, and scale operations without hiring armies of employees. The math is staggering. Traditional businesses scale linearly, double the output, double the workforce. AI-leveraged businesses scale exponentially, double the output with the same team, or 10x the output with minimal additional resources. This is why tech billionaires keep getting richer while everyone else stagnates. They understand the leverage law. Output equals skill times effort times leverage factor. Most people focus on skill and effort. Winners focus on the leverage factor. The tale of two futures. Let's fast forward 5 years. 2 scenarios unfold. Scenario 1, the resistance fighter. You've spent the last 5 years hoping AI would slow down, that your industry would be different, that experience would protect you. Instead, you watch younger competitors use AI tools to deliver better results in half the time. Your skills feel outdated. Your income stagnates. Stress mounts as you realize you're fighting a losing battle against exponential progress. Scenario 2, the leverage master. You embraced the wave early. You built a portfolio of 3 digital income streams that generate revenue while you sleep. You've automated the routine parts of your work and focused on high-value strategy and relationships. You choose your projects, set your schedule, and work from anywhere with Wi-Fi. Your income has tripled, but your stress has plummeted. The difference? One person fought the future, the other surfed it. Your first pass wins. This book isn't about abstract theory, it's about concrete wins you can achieve on your first read-through. Within 30 days, you'll launch a micro product earning $500 per month. Nothing fancy, maybe a template bundle, a mini course, or a simple automation service. The goal isn't to get rich quick, it's to prove that leveraged income is possible. You'll also automate 1 5-hour weekly task using AI tools and no-code platforms. Whether it's report generation, social media posting, or customer follow-ups, you'll reclaim time and mental energy for higher value work. Most importantly, you'll reframe your work identity. Instead of seeing yourself as a laborer trading hours for dollars, you'll think like a leverage builder who creates systems that multiply output. These aren't pipe dreams, they're stepping stones to something bigger. The 5 meta principles. The rest of this book revolves around 5 meta principles that transform how you work and earn. Mindset shift comes first because beliefs drive behavior. You'll install a human plus machine worldview that sees every new tool as a leverage amplifier, not a threat. Opportunity radar teaches you to spot value gaps before the crowd catches on. While others panic about AI disruption, you'll identify the problems it creates and the solutions people will pay for. Skill Stack shows you how to combine complementary abilities that become rare and valuable together. Instead of competing on single expertise that AI can replicate, you'll build unique combinations that command premium pricing. Leverage Systems converts your effort into scalable infrastructure. You'll build automations, processes, and workflows that work while you sleep, turning time into a renewable resource. Income Engines diversifies your revenue streams across multiple digital assets. Instead of depending on one paycheck, you'll create a portfolio of income sources that reduce risk and increase optionality. Each principle builds on the last. Mindset shapes how you see opportunities. Opportunities guide skill development. Skills enable system building. Systems generate income. Income funds further leverage. Why this sequence matters. The order isn't arbitrary. Mindset must shift first because perception drives everything else. If you still think like an employee, you'll miss entrepreneurial opportunities hiding in plain sight. Perception guides skill selection. Without the right lens, you'll waste time learning random tools instead of building strategic capabilities that compound. Skills enable systems. Knowing how to use AI tools is useless without understanding business processes, customer psychology, and value creation. Systems generate cash. Money is the fuel for reinvestment, experimentation, and scaling what works. Finally, financial management locks in your gains. Without proper wealth systems, you'll lose everything in the next downturn. Winners versus losers, the mindset divide. The AI revolution will create stark winners and losers. The difference isn't talent, luck, or connections. It's mindset. Winners surf volatility. They see change as opportunity and uncertainty as upside. When new tools emerge, they ask, how can I use this? When industries shift, they position themselves at the intersection of old problems and new solutions. Losers resist change. They cling to familiar methods and hope disruption will pass them by. When faced with new technology, they ask, why me? When markets shift, they double down on outdated strategies. Winners test fast and iterate. They launch imperfect products, gather feedback, and improve rapidly. They'd rather be wrong quickly than right slowly. Losers overplan and stall. They spend months perfecting business plans while opportunities vanish. They confuse preparation with procrastination and analysis with action. Proof points: the early adopters. The evidence is already mounting. Satya Nadella transformed Microsoft from a declining software company into a $3 trillion AI powerhouse by embracing cloud computing and artificial intelligence. The stock price tripled in 5 years. Sarah Blakely built Spanx into a billion-dollar brand by automating operations and focusing on vision and strategy. She didn't get bogged down in day-to-day execution. She built systems that handled the routine work. Reid Hoffman, LinkedIn's founder, has leveraged early access to large language models to multiply his reach as an investor and thought leader. He uses AI to analyze deals, generate insights, and scale his influence across multiple ventures simultaneously. These aren't isolated cases. They're previews of what's possible when you align with technological leverage instead of fighting it. The path forward. The shockwave is here. The question is, will you be crushed by it or carried by it? This book is your surfboard. Each chapter builds your capability to ride the AI wave instead of being tumbled by it. You'll learn to think in systems, spot opportunities, stack skills, build leverage, and create antifragile wealth. The journey starts with a single step: changing how you see the world. When you stop viewing AI as a threat and start seeing it as a tool, everything shifts. Problems become opportunities. Uncertainty becomes upside. Change becomes your competitive advantage. But mindset alone isn't enough. You need a systematic approach to transform perspective into profit, anxiety into advantage, and disruption into diversified income. The next chapter reveals the mental operating system that separates leverage builders from laborers, a cognitive framework that turns chaos into clarity and fear into fuel. Once you install this new way of thinking, you'll never see work the same way again. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2, Mindset Shift. The email arrived at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Tim Ferriss stared at his computer screen, watching his consulting income evaporate in real time. His biggest client had just terminated their contract, citing budget constraints. 6 figures of annual revenue, gone. Most people would panic, update their resume, start networking frantically. But Ferriss did something different. He asked a single question that would reshape his entire career. How can I make this irrelevant? That question led him to outsource his entire business to virtual assistants, automate his income streams, and eventually write The 4-Hour Workweek, a book that generated more passive income than his consulting practice ever could. The crisis became the catalyst for a completely different way of thinking about work. The difference wasn't talent or luck, it was mindset. While others saw a problem, Ferriss saw a design challenge. While others focused on working harder, he focused on working differently. While others accepted the rules of the game, he rewrote them entirely. This is what a true mindset shift looks like. It's not positive thinking or motivational mantras. It's a fundamental rewiring of how you perceive reality, process information, and make decisions. And in the age of AI, it's the difference between thriving and merely surviving. The operating system upgrade. Your mind runs on an operating system, just like your computer. Most people are still running Windows 95 while the world has moved to the cloud. They're stuck in industrial age thinking patterns that assume scarcity, linear growth, and hour-for-dollar exchanges. But here's what most productivity gurus won't tell you. Tactics without the right mental framework are useless. You can learn every AI tool, master every automation platform, and memorize every growth hack. But if your underlying beliefs about work, value creation, and risk haven't evolved, you'll just be a more efficient version of the same limited person. The mindset shift isn't about becoming more optimistic or confident. It's about installing a completely different lens through which you see the world. When you look at a new AI tool, do you see a threat to your job security or a lever to multiply your output? When you encounter uncertainty, do you see danger or opportunity? When you face a setback, do you see failure or data? These aren't philosophical questions. They're practical ones that determine your next action, and your next action determines your results. The old operating system was built for a predictable world where careers followed linear paths and expertise aged like fine wine. The new operating system is built for exponential change, where adaptability trumps expertise and systems thinking beats hard work. The fear paradox. Let's address the elephant in the room. You're scared. Scared that AI will make you obsolete. Scared that you're too old to learn new tricks. Scared that you'll invest time and energy into the wrong things and fall further behind. Good, fear is data, not destiny. The people who will lose in the AI revolution aren't those who feel fear. They're those who let fear paralyze them. The winners feel the same fear, but use it as rocket fuel instead of an anchor. Here's the counterintuitive truth. The more uncertain the environment, the more valuable it becomes to act quickly and experiment cheaply. When the rules are changing rapidly, the advantage goes to those who can test, learn, and adapt faster than the competition. Think about it this way. If you knew exactly what the future held, everyone else would know too, and any opportunity would be arbitraged away instantly. Uncertainty creates opportunity because most people retreat to safety while a few bold souls venture into the unknown and claim the territory. The key is reframing uncertainty from a threat to an asset. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" start asking, "What if I succeed beyond my wildest expectations?" Instead of focusing on what you might lose, focus on what you might gain. Instead of planning for the worst-case scenario, design experiments with asymmetric upside, limited downside, unlimited upside. This isn't naive optimism, it's strategic thinking. When experiments are cheap and the potential payoff is enormous, the rational response is to run more experiments, not fewer. The identity revolution. The deepest part of the mindset shift involves changing how you see yourself. Most people define themselves by their job title, their industry, or their current skill set. I'm an accountant. I'm a marketing manager. I'm a graphic designer. This identity becomes a prison when the world changes. If you're an accountant and AI automates bookkeeping, what are you? If you're a marketing manager and AI writes better copy, who are you? If you're a graphic designer and AI creates better visuals, what's your value? The answer is to upgrade your identity from what you do to how you think. Instead of being a graphic designer, you become a visual problem solver. Instead of being an accountant, you become a financial strategist. Instead of being a marketing manager, you become a growth architect. But even that's not enough. The ultimate identity shift is from being a person who trades time for money to being a person who builds leverage. From being an employee to being an owner. From being a cost center to being a profit center. This isn't about starting a business or becoming an entrepreneur, though it might lead there. It's about thinking like an owner, regardless of your current situation. Owners ask different questions. They think in systems. They focus on outcomes, not activities. They invest in assets, not just expenses. When you make this shift, everything changes. You stop optimizing for busy work and start optimizing for results. You stop competing on effort and start competing on effectiveness. You stop seeing AI as a replacement and start seeing it as an amplifier. The human plus machine advantage. The future doesn't belong to humans or machines. It belongs to human-machine partnerships that combine the best of both worlds. Machines excel at processing information, recognizing patterns, and executing repetitive tasks. Humans excel at creativity, empathy, strategic thinking, and complex problem-solving. The magic happens at the intersection. AI can analyze thousands of customer reviews in seconds, but it takes human judgment to decide which insights matter most. AI can generate dozens of marketing headlines, but it takes human intuition to know which one will resonate with your specific audience. AI can automate routine tasks, but it takes human vision to design the systems and processes that create value. This is why the AI will replace humans' narrative is both wrong and dangerous. It's wrong because AI amplifies human capabilities rather than replacing them entirely. It's dangerous because it causes people to retreat instead of advance, to resist instead of adapt. The people who will thrive in the AI age aren't those who can compete with machines at machine tasks. They're those who can leverage machines to become superhuman at human tasks. They use AI to handle the routine work so they can focus on the creative, strategic, and relational work that only humans can do. This requires a fundamental shift in how you think about your role. Instead of being a doer, you become a designer. Instead of being an executor, you become an orchestrator. Instead of being a worker, you become a conductor, leading an orchestra of human and artificial intelligence. The experimenter's edge. Traditional career advice tells you to specialize, become an expert, and stick with what you know. That advice worked in a stable world where expertise aged slowly and career paths were predictable. In a rapidly changing world, it's a recipe for obsolescence. The new career advice is to become an experimenter, to develop a bias toward action over analysis, to test ideas quickly and cheaply rather than planning them to death, to treat failure as data rather than defeat. This doesn't mean being reckless or impulsive. It means being systematically experimental. It means designing small bets with limited downside and unlimited upside. It means learning to fail fast and cheap so you can succeed big and expensive. The experimenter's mindset is built on a simple principle. In a rapidly changing world, the cost of inaction exceeds the cost of imperfect action. While others are debating whether AI will disrupt their industry, experimenters are already testing AI tools and building new capabilities. While others are waiting for certainty, experimenters are creating it through action. This approach requires rewiring your relationship with failure. Instead of seeing failure as evidence that you're not good enough, you see it as evidence that you're pushing boundaries. Instead of avoiding failure, you seek it out because it's the fastest way to learn what works and what doesn't. The daily practice of mental leverage. Mindset shifts don't happen overnight. They require daily practice like physical fitness or musical skill. The good news is that the practice can be simple and systematic. Start each day by asking yourself one question. How could AI replace what I'm planning to do today? This isn't meant to create anxiety. It's meant to create awareness. When you identify tasks that could be automated, you have 3 choices: eliminate them, delegate them, or automate them. The goal is to spend more time on work that only you can do. Once a week, conduct what I call an obsolescence audit. Look at your current skills, processes, and assumptions. Ask yourself, what am I doing today that might be irrelevant in 2 years? Then ask, what should I be learning or building to stay ahead of the curve? This isn't about paranoia or constant reinvention. It's about conscious evolution. It's about staying one step ahead of the automation wave instead of being swept away by it. The most powerful practice is systems thinking. Instead of just completing tasks, start mapping the processes behind them. How does information flow? Where are the bottlenecks? What steps could be eliminated or automated? What would happen if this process was 10 times faster or 10 times cheaper? This mental shift from task completion to system optimization is the foundation of leverage thinking. It's what separates people who work in the business from people who work on the business. It's what separates employees from owners, laborers from leverage builders. The compound effect of clarity. When you successfully shift your mindset, something remarkable happens. The anxiety and confusion that once clouded your thinking begin to clear. You start seeing opportunities where others see only problems. You start asking better questions, which leads to better answers, which leads to better results. This clarity compounds over time. Each insight builds on the last. Each experiment teaches you something new. Each success gives you confidence to take bigger risks and pursue bigger opportunities. The best outcome isn't just financial, though that usually follows. It's the development of what I call opportunity radar. You begin to instinctively spot leverage points, value gaps, and emerging trends before they become obvious to everyone else. You develop a sixth sense for what's coming next and how to position yourself to benefit from it. This isn't magic or intuition. It's pattern recognition developed through systematic practice. When you train yourself to think in systems, spot automation opportunities, and design experiments, you start seeing the world differently. What looks like chaos to others starts looking like opportunity to you. The two traps that kill progress. Even with the right mindset, two traps can derail your progress. The first is analysis paralysis, the tendency to research and plan endlessly without ever taking action. The cure is simple: impose artificial deadlines. Give yourself 48 hours to make a decision or launch an experiment. Perfect is the enemy of good, and good is the enemy of done. The second trap is shiny object syndrome, jumping from one opportunity to another without ever seeing anything through to completion. The cure is to establish a North Star metric that keeps you focused. Choose 2 words that capture your ultimate goal: leverage hours, passive income, creative freedom, and use them to filter every opportunity. When you feel yourself getting distracted, return to your North Star. Ask yourself, does this move me closer to my goal or further away from it? If it doesn't clearly move you closer, it's probably a distraction. The point of no return. There's a moment in every transformation when you cross a threshold. You can't go back to seeing the world the way you used to. The old limitations feel artificial. The old excuses feel hollow. The old way of working feels like wearing clothes that no longer fit. This is the point of no return, and it's exactly where you want to be. Once you've tasted the freedom that comes from thinking in systems, building leverage, and creating value at scale, you'll never be satisfied with trading hours for dollars again. But mindset alone isn't enough. You need a systematic way to spot the opportunities that others miss, the gaps in the market that AI is creating faster than most people can recognize. The next chapter reveals the intelligence gathering system that turns market chaos into personal profit, but only for those who know where to look. Chapter 3: Opportunity Radar. The year was 2007. While everyone else was obsessing over the iPhone launch, a quiet entrepreneur named Brian Chesky was struggling to pay rent in San Francisco. He had an idea that seemed almost absurd. Strangers would pay to sleep on air mattresses in other strangers' apartments. Investors laughed. Friends called it crazy. The hospitality industry ignored it completely. But Chesky had spotted something others missed: a massive gap between supply and demand in temporary accommodations, amplified by new mobile technology and social platforms that made peer-to-peer trust possible at scale. Airbnb is now worth over $70 billion. The opportunity was hiding in plain sight, but only for those who knew how to look. While others saw problems, stranger danger, regulatory hurdles, quality control, Chesky saw solutions waiting to be built. While others focused on existing markets, he spotted an entirely new one being born. This is what Opportunity Radar looks like in action. It's not about predicting the future or having insider information. It's about developing a systematic way to spot value gaps before they become obvious to everyone else. And in the age of AI, these gaps are opening faster than ever before. The intelligence game. Most people wait for opportunities to knock on their door. They react to job postings, respond to market trends, and follow paths that others have already blazed. By the time an opportunity becomes obvious, the early mover advantage has evaporated. Smart operators play a different game. They build intelligence systems that help them spot opportunities while they're still emerging. They develop what military strategists call weak signal detection, the ability to notice patterns and trends before they become mainstream. This isn't about having a crystal ball or special access to secret information. It's about systematically scanning the environment for specific indicators that signal opportunity. It's about knowing what to look for and where to look for it. The AI revolution is creating these signals everywhere. Traditional industries are being disrupted. New tools are emerging daily. Consumer behaviors are shifting rapidly. Regulatory frameworks are scrambling to catch up. Each of these changes creates friction, and friction creates opportunity for those who know how to spot it. The key is understanding that opportunity doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It whispers before it shouts. It shows up as complaints in online forums before it appears in market research reports. It manifests as workarounds and hacks before it becomes formal solutions. Your job is to become fluent in this language of emerging opportunity, to train your eye to see what others miss, to develop what I call opportunity radar, a systematic approach to scanning for value gaps that AI is creating faster than the market can fill them. The 3 tells. After studying hundreds of successful entrepreneurs and analyzing dozens of breakthrough opportunities, I've identified 3 reliable indicators that signal emerging opportunity. I call them the 3 tells because they're like poker tells, subtle signals that reveal what's really happening beneath the surface. The first tell is task redundancy. When you see people doing the same repetitive task over and over, manually and inefficiently, you're looking at an automation opportunity. The more people doing it, the bigger the market. The more they hate doing it, the more they'll pay for a solution. Look for phrases like, "I spend hours every week doing this," or "I wish there was a better way," or "This is such a waste of time." These aren't just complaints, they're market research. They're telling you exactly what problems need solving and how much pain people are willing to endure for a solution. The second tell is data abundance. When an industry or process generates lots of data but isn't using it effectively, you're looking at an intelligence opportunity. AI thrives on data, and most organizations are sitting on gold mines of information they don't know how to extract value from. Watch for situations where people say things like, "We have all this data, but don't know what to do with it," or "I wish I could make sense of all these numbers," or "There must be patterns here, but I can't see them." These are signals that AI-powered analysis could create massive value. The third tell is decision latency. When decisions that should be fast are slow, or when decisions that should be automated are still manual, you're looking at an optimization opportunity. Every delay in decision-making costs money, and AI can collapse these delays dramatically. Listen for frustrations like, "It takes forever to get approval," or "We're always waiting for someone to review this," or "By the time we decide, the opportunity is gone." These bottlenecks are where AI can create the most immediate and measurable value. When you see all 3 tells in the same place, redundant tasks, abundant data, and slow decisions, you've found what I call a perfect storm opportunity. These are the situations where AI can create transformational value, not just incremental improvement. The myth of insider access. One of the biggest myths about opportunity identification is that you need insider access or venture capital connections to spot good opportunities early. This couldn't be further from the truth. The best opportunities often hide in plain sight, overlooked by insiders who are too close to the problem to see the solution. Experts suffer from what psychologists call the curse of knowledge. They know so much about how things currently work that they can't imagine how they could work differently. Outsiders have a crucial advantage: fresh eyes. They're not constrained by industry assumptions or conventional wisdom. They can see obvious solutions that insiders miss because they're not invested in the status quo. Consider Uber. The taxi industry had decades of experience and insider knowledge, but they couldn't see the opportunity that 2 outsiders, Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp, spotted immediately. The insiders were too invested in the existing system to imagine a completely different one. The same pattern repeats across industries. Netflix was founded by people from outside the entertainment industry. Tesla was built by someone from outside the automotive industry. Airbnb was created by people from outside the hospitality industry. The AI revolution is creating similar opportunities for outsiders right now. Traditional industries are struggling to adapt, creating openings for fresh thinking and new approaches. You don't need an MBA or industry experience to spot these gaps. You just need the right framework for looking. Building your intelligence network. Opportunity radar isn't just about having good instincts. It's about building systematic intelligence-gathering processes that feed you a constant stream of market signals. Think of it as creating your own private CIA for opportunity detection. The foundation is diversified information sources. Most people get their information from the same handful of mainstream sources, which means they're seeing the same opportunities as everyone else. You need to go deeper and wider. Start by identifying the online communities where your target customers complain about their problems. Reddit forums, Facebook groups, LinkedIn discussions, Discord servers, Slack communities. These are where real pain points surface before they show up in formal market research. Set up Google alerts for specific keywords related to emerging technologies, industry disruptions, and customer complaints. Use terms like, "I wish there was," "Why isn't there?" "Someone should build," combined with your areas of interest. These alerts will deliver opportunity signals directly to your inbox. Follow the right people on social media, not just influencers and thought leaders, but practitioners who are dealing with real problems every day. The person complaining about their workflow on Twitter might be signaling your next business opportunity. Subscribe to industry newsletters and research reports, but don't stop there. Read the comments sections. Look at what people are arguing about. Pay attention to what they're saying isn't possible or won't work. These are often the best opportunities. Create a systematic scanning routine. Spend 30 minutes each week reviewing your intelligence sources, looking specifically for the 3 tells. Document what you find in a simple spreadsheet or note-taking app. Track patterns over time. The goal isn't to consume more information, it's to consume better information and process it more systematically. Quality beats quantity every time. The validation imperative. Spotting potential opportunities is only half the battle. The other half is validating them quickly and cheaply before you invest significant time or money. This is where most people fail. They fall in love with their ideas before they test them with real customers. The fastest way to validate an opportunity is to find people who have the problem and ask them about it directly, not in a survey or focus group, but in real conversations where you can dig deep and understand the nuances of their pain. Reach out to potential customers through the same channels where you found the opportunity signals. If you spotted complaints in a Reddit forum, engage with the people who were complaining. If you saw frustrations in a LinkedIn group, send direct messages to the people expressing those frustrations. Ask open-ended questions that get them talking about their current situation. Tell me about the last time you had to deal with this problem. What have you tried to solve this? What would an ideal solution look like? How much time, money does this problem cost you? Listen for emotional language. When people use words like frustrated, annoying, painful, or impossible, you're hearing genuine pain that they might pay to solve. When they describe workarounds, manual processes, or time-consuming tasks, you're hearing automation opportunities. The ultimate validation is getting someone to pay you before you build anything. Create a simple landing page describing your proposed solution and ask for pre-orders or deposits. If people won't pay for a solution that doesn't exist yet, they probably won't pay for one that does. This might feel uncomfortable or premature, but it's the fastest way to separate real opportunities from wishful thinking. Money is the only vote that counts in the market. The graveyard strategy. Not every opportunity you identify will be ready for immediate action. Market timing matters enormously, and sometimes the best opportunities require patience. This is where most people make a critical mistake. They either pursue opportunities too early or forget about them entirely. The solution is what I call the idea graveyard, a systematic way to track and revisit opportunities that aren't ready yet. Create a simple document where you record promising ideas along with the reasons why they're not ready and the conditions that would make them viable. Maybe the technology isn't mature enough yet. Maybe the regulatory environment needs to change. Maybe the target market needs more education. Maybe the cost structure needs to improve. Whatever the barrier, document it clearly. Then set up a review process to revisit these dormant opportunities regularly. Market conditions change rapidly, especially in the AI space. An idea that was too early 6 months ago might be perfectly timed today. Some of the biggest opportunities come from being ready when the timing shifts. Amazon Web Services was born from an internal need that Jeff Bezos recognized could become an external opportunity when the market was ready. The iPhone succeeded where previous smartphones failed because the market had evolved to support it. Your graveyard ideas aren't dead, they're just waiting for the right moment to be resurrected. The key is staying alert to the signals that indicate when that moment has arrived. The echo chamber trap. One of the biggest dangers in opportunity identification is falling into echo chambers. Surrounding yourself with people who think like you, read the same sources, and share the same assumptions. This creates a false sense of validation and blinds you to alternative perspectives. The antidote is deliberate diversity in your information sources and feedback networks. Seek out people who disagree with you. Read publications that challenge your worldview. Join communities outside your comfort zone. Pay special attention to skeptics and critics. They often spot real problems with opportunities that enthusiasts miss. If someone says your idea won't work, don't dismiss them. Ask them why. Their objections might reveal fatal flaws, or they might point to barriers you can overcome with the right approach. Geographic diversity matters too. What works in Silicon Valley might not work in the Midwest. What's obvious in urban markets might be invisible in rural ones. Different regions have different problems, different resources, and different willingness to adopt new solutions. Age diversity is crucial as well. Younger people see opportunities that older people miss, and vice versa. Different generations have different pain points, different comfort levels with technology, and different spending patterns. The goal isn't to please everyone or find opportunities that work for every demographic. It's to understand the full landscape of possibilities and choose the ones that align with your strengths and resources. The false positive problem. Not every signal is a real opportunity. Markets are full of noise, and it's easy to mistake temporary trends for permanent shifts or niche complaints for mass market problems. The key is developing filters that help you separate signal from noise. The most reliable filter is money. People complain about lots of things they won't actually pay to solve. They express interest in solutions they'll never buy. They claim they need features they'll never use. But when they open their wallets, they reveal their true priorities. This is why validation through pre-sales is so important. It cuts through all the noise and gives you direct feedback about real market demand. If you can't get people to pay for a solution before it exists, you probably can't get them to pay for it after it exists either. Another important filter is scale. Some problems are real but too small to build a business around. Others are real but too expensive to solve profitably. The sweet spot is problems that are painful enough to pay for, common enough to scale, and simple enough to solve efficiently. Time is also a crucial filter. Some opportunities are real but require more time and resources than you have available. Others are real but will be solved by bigger players before you can get to market. The best opportunities are those you can pursue with your current resources and timeline. The compound effect of pattern recognition. As you practice opportunity identification, something remarkable happens. You start seeing patterns that others miss. You develop intuition about what works and what doesn't. You begin to spot opportunities faster and validate them more efficiently. This isn't magic. It's pattern recognition developed through systematic practice. The more opportunities you evaluate, the better you become at quickly identifying the promising ones and discarding the dead ends. You also start to see connections between seemingly unrelated trends. A development in AI might create an opportunity in healthcare. A regulatory change might open up possibilities in finance. A demographic shift might reveal gaps in education or entertainment. This compound effect is why building opportunity radar is so valuable. It's not just about finding your next business idea. It's about developing a skill that will serve you for the rest of your career. In a rapidly changing world, the ability to spot emerging opportunities is one of the most valuable capabilities you can develop. The best part is that opportunity identification gets easier with practice, not harder. Each success teaches you something new. Each failure shows you what to avoid. Each pattern you recognize makes the next one more obvious. But spotting opportunities is only the beginning. Once you've identified a promising gap in the market, you need the skills to fill it effectively. The next chapter reveals the secret to building capabilities that can't be automated, a unique combination of talents that makes you irreplaceable in an AI-driven world. Chapter 4: Skill Stack. Scott Adams was a mediocre cartoonist working in a corporate cubicle when he stumbled upon a formula that would make him worth millions. He wasn't the best artist. Plenty of people could draw better than him. He wasn't the funniest writer. Comedy clubs were full of sharper wits. He wasn't the most business-savvy entrepreneur. MBA programs graduated thousands of smarter strategists every year. But Scott Adams had something none of them possessed, a unique combination of skills that, when stacked together, created something extraordinary. He combined decent cartooning ability with sharp observational humor about corporate life, mixed in basic business knowledge, and added a deep understanding of human psychology and persuasion. Individually, each skill was unremarkable. Together, they created Dilbert, a comic strip that generated over $20 million in licensing revenue and turned Adams into one of the most influential voices in workplace culture. The magic wasn't in mastering any single skill to perfection. It was in combining complementary skills in a way that no one else had thought to do. Adams called this talent stacking, and it's about to become your secret weapon in the AI age. While everyone else is panicking about machines replacing human expertise, you're going to build something machines can't replicate, a unique cocktail of human capabilities that becomes more valuable, not less, as AI handles the routine work. The death of the specialist. For decades, career advice followed a simple formula: pick a lane, become an expert, and defend your expertise against all challengers. Specialize deeply, the experts said. Become the go-to person for one specific thing. Build a moat around your knowledge. This advice worked brilliantly in a stable world where expertise aged slowly and career paths were predictable. If you became the best tax accountant in your city, you could count on decades of steady income. If you mastered a particular software platform, you could ride that expertise for years. But here's the brutal reality: AI is eating specialists for lunch. Every narrow expertise that can be codified, systematized, or reduced to patterns is being automated. Tax preparation software has already replaced most basic accounting work. Legal research tools are handling tasks that used to require teams of junior lawyers. Medical diagnosis systems are outperforming human doctors in specific specialties. The deeper your specialization, the bigger the target on your back. The more your expertise can be reduced to rules and patterns, the easier it is for AI to replicate and improve upon it. This doesn't mean expertise is worthless. It means singular expertise is fragile. The future belongs to people who can combine multiple areas of competence in ways that create unique value. It belongs to the skill stackers. Think about it this way. If you're competing on a single dimension, you're playing a game where AI has every advantage. Machines can process more information, recognize more patterns, and execute more consistently than any human. But if you're competing on multiple dimensions simultaneously, you're playing a game where human creativity, intuition, and adaptability become decisive advantages. The hybrid advantage. The most valuable professionals in the AI age won't be those who can compete with machines at machine tasks. They'll be those who can orchestrate human-machine partnerships that create results neither could achieve alone. This requires a fundamentally different approach to skill development. Instead of going deep in one area, you go broad across several complementary areas. Instead of becoming the world's best at one thing, you become uniquely good at combining 3 to 5 things that rarely get combined. The math is compelling. If you're in the top 25%, in each of 4 different skills, the combination puts you in the top 1% of people who have that particular mix. You don't need to be the best writer, the best strategist, the best technologist, and the best communicator. You just need to be good enough at each that the combination is rare and valuable. This is why Scott Adams succeeded with Dilbert. He wasn't the best cartoonist, but he was good enough. He wasn't the funniest writer, but he was funny enough. He wasn't the deepest business thinker, but he understood corporate dynamics well enough. The combination was what made him irreplaceable. The same principle applies in every field. A decent programmer who also understands user psychology and business strategy is more valuable than a brilliant programmer who only codes. A good writer who also grasps data analysis and marketing is more valuable than a great writer who only writes. The key is choosing skills that amplify each other. When your capabilities compound rather than just add up, you create exponential value instead of linear value. The AI multiplier effect. Here's where skill stacking gets really interesting in the AI age. Artificial intelligence doesn't just threaten human capabilities, it amplifies them. The right combination of human skills enhanced by AI tools creates leverage that neither humans nor machines could achieve independently. Consider a marketing professional who combines copywriting, data analysis, and customer psychology. Before AI, this person could create compelling campaigns but was limited by time and processing power. They could write great copy, but analyzing customer data took hours. They could understand psychology, but testing multiple variations was expensive and slow. Now, with AI assistance, the same person can generate dozens of copy variations in minutes, analyze customer behavior patterns in real time, and run sophisticated psychological experiments at scale. The AI doesn't replace their skills, it multiplies their impact exponentially. This is the secret that most people miss about the AI revolution. It's not about humans versus machines. It's about humans with machines versus humans without machines. The winners will be those who learn to leverage AI as a force multiplier for their unique combination of skills. But this only works if you have the right skills to multiply. If your only capability is something AI can do better, you're in trouble. If your capabilities are things that AI can enhance but not replace, you're in a position of unprecedented leverage. The question becomes, which skills should you stack, and how do you develop them efficiently? The strategic selection process. Not all skills are created equal in the AI age. Some become more valuable as AI advances, while others become commoditized. The key is understanding which is which and building your stack accordingly. The most AI-resistant skills fall into 3 categories: creative synthesis, human connection, and strategic thinking. These are areas where human judgment, intuition, and emotional intelligence remain superior to machine capabilities. Creative synthesis involves taking disparate pieces of information and combining them in novel ways to solve complex problems. This might be designing business strategies, crafting compelling narratives, or developing innovative solutions to customer needs. AI can provide the raw materials, but humans excel at the creative combination. Human connection encompasses all the skills involved in building relationships, influencing decisions, and navigating complex social dynamics. This includes negotiation, leadership, empathy, and communication. AI can analyze human behavior, but humans are still better at actually connecting with other humans. Strategic thinking involves making decisions under uncertainty, balancing competing priorities, and seeing the big picture. This includes planning, prioritization, risk assessment, and vision setting. AI can process data and identify patterns, but humans excel at making judgment calls when the data is incomplete or contradictory. The most powerful skill stacks combine elements from all 3 categories. You might pair strategic thinking with creative synthesis and add strong communication skills. Or you might combine human psychology with data analysis and strategic planning. The key is choosing skills that complement each other and create unique value when combined. The 12-week sprint method. Traditional skill development is slow and inefficient. People spend years trying to master subjects that could be learned in months with the right approach. In a rapidly changing world, you can't afford to spend decades becoming an expert. You need to develop useful competence quickly and then compound it over time. The solution is what I call the 12-week sprint method. Instead of trying to master everything at once, you focus intensively on one meta skill for 3 months, develop practical competence, then move to the next skill while maintaining the first. 12 weeks is long enough to develop real capability, but short enough to maintain focus and motivation. It's also the perfect time frame for deliberate practice, focused, goal-oriented effort designed to improve performance rather than just accumulate knowledge. The key is defining clear, measurable outcomes for each sprint. Don't just say learn copywriting. Say write 10 sales emails that generate at least a 5% response rate. Don't just say understand data analysis. Say build 3 dashboards that provide actionable insights for real business decisions. This forces you to learn by doing rather than just consuming information. You're not trying to become a theoretical expert. You're trying to develop practical skills that create real value. The best way to learn is to have skin in the game. Start each sprint by identifying the core principles and frameworks that drive 80% of the results in that skill area. Most skills follow the Pareto principle. 20% of the knowledge creates 80% of the value. Your job is to identify and master that crucial 20% as quickly as possible. Then find ways to practice with real stakes. Offer to help friends with their businesses. Take on small freelance projects. Volunteer for challenging assignments at work. The goal is to learn while creating value, not just to learn in isolation. The AI Copilot strategy. Here's where skill stacking gets supercharged. You're not learning these skills in isolation. You're learning them in partnership with AI tools that can accelerate your development and amplify your capabilities. Use AI as your personal tutor and practice partner. When learning copywriting, have AI generate examples, provide feedback on your work, and suggest improvements. When developing strategic thinking, use AI to analyze scenarios, identify blind spots, and stress test your assumptions. The key is understanding AI's strengths and limitations in each skill area. AI excels at pattern recognition, information synthesis, and rapid iteration. It struggles with context, nuance, and creative leaps. Your job is to leverage its strengths while compensating for its weaknesses. For example, when learning negotiation skills, AI can help you prepare by analyzing the other party's likely positions, generating potential counterarguments, and suggesting tactical approaches. But the actual negotiation requires human judgment, emotional intelligence, and real-time adaptation that AI can't provide. This partnership approach accelerates learning dramatically. Instead of spending months reading books and taking courses, you can learn by doing with AI assistance. The AI handles the routine analysis and information processing, freeing you to focus on the creative and strategic elements that only humans can master. Document everything you learn and create systems for rapid retrieval. Build personal knowledge bases, frameworks, and checklists that you can reference and refine over time. The goal is to create a compound learning system where each new skill builds on and enhances the previous ones. The monetization imperative. One of the biggest mistakes people make when developing new skills is waiting until they feel ready before trying to create value. This perfectionist approach wastes time and misses crucial learning opportunities. Instead, start monetizing your skills while you're still developing them. Offer beta services at discounted rates. Take on small projects that stretch your capabilities. Charge something, even if it's just a token amount, to ensure accountability and real-world feedback. This approach serves multiple purposes. First, it forces you to learn faster because you have real deadlines and real consequences. Second, it provides immediate feedback about which skills are actually valuable in the market. Third, it starts generating income that can fund further skill development. The key is being transparent about your skill level and positioning yourself appropriately. Don't claim to be an expert when you're still learning. Instead, position yourself as someone who's developing expertise and willing to work at below-market rates in exchange for experience and testimonials. Many clients are happy to work with skilled beginners if the price is right and the value is clear. You get experience and income. They get quality work at a discount. Everyone wins. As your skills improve and your results speak for themselves, you can gradually raise your rates and take on more challenging projects. The goal is to create a virtuous cycle where each project teaches you something new and positions you for bigger opportunities. The teaching multiplier. One of the most powerful ways to cement your learning and build your reputation is to teach others what you're learning. This might seem counterintuitive. Why would you teach skills you're still developing? But teaching forces you to organize your knowledge, identify gaps in your understanding, and communicate complex ideas clearly. Start a blog, create video tutorials, or offer workshops about your skill development journey. Share what you're learning, what's working, and what isn't. Document your experiments and results. Build an audience of people who are interested in the same skills you're developing. This serves several strategic purposes. First, teaching forces you to learn more deeply because you have to understand something well enough to explain it to others. Second, it builds your reputation as someone who's knowledgeable in your chosen skill areas. Third, it creates networking opportunities with other people who share your interests. The learning in public approach also creates accountability. When you commit publicly to developing certain skills, you're more likely to follow through. When you share your progress regularly, you maintain momentum even when motivation wanes. Don't worry about not being qualified to teach. You don't need to be the world's expert to help people who are a few steps behind you. Often, recent learners are better teachers than longtime experts because they remember what it was like to be confused and can explain things more clearly. The compound effect of unique combinations. As you develop multiple complementary skills, something remarkable happens. The combination becomes more valuable than the sum of its parts. You start seeing connections and opportunities that specialists miss. You develop insights that come from cross-pollinating ideas between different domains. This is where the real magic of skill stacking reveals itself. You're not just collecting capabilities, you're creating a unique perspective that generates novel solutions to complex problems. You become the person who can bridge different worlds and translate between different languages. A person who understands both technology and psychology can design user experiences that specialists in either field might miss. Someone who combines financial analysis with storytelling can communicate complex business insights in ways that drive action. A professional who pairs strategic thinking with hands-on execution can turn vision into reality. These combinations are inherently difficult for AI to replicate because they require the kind of creative synthesis and contextual judgment that humans excel at. The more unique your combination, the more irreplaceable you become. The key is being intentional about how your skills interact and compound. Look for opportunities to use multiple skills simultaneously. Seek projects that require your full stack rather than just one element. Position yourself as someone who brings a unique perspective rather than just another service provider. The continuous evolution challenge. Skill stacking isn't a one-time activity. It's a continuous process of evolution and adaptation. As technology advances and markets change, some skills become more valuable while others become commoditized. Your job is to stay ahead of these shifts and continuously upgrade your stack. This requires developing what I call meta-learning skills, the ability to learn new things quickly and efficiently. The specific skills you develop today might become obsolete, but the ability to rapidly acquire new capabilities will always be valuable. Build systems for continuous skill development. Set aside time each week for learning and experimentation. Stay connected to communities of practice in your chosen skill areas. Monitor trends and emerging technologies that might affect your stack. The goal isn't to chase every new trend or constantly reinvent yourself. It's to evolve strategically, adding new capabilities that enhance your existing stack while retiring skills that are becoming commoditized. Remember that skill stacking is a long-term strategy. The real payoff comes from years of compound development, not quick wins. Each skill you develop makes the next one easier to learn. Each project you complete opens doors to bigger opportunities. Each success builds credibility that attracts better clients and partners. But skills without systems are just potential energy waiting to be released. The next chapter reveals how to convert your growing capabilities into scalable infrastructure that works while you sleep, transforming effort into assets that compound automatically. Chapter 5: Leverage Systems. Jeff Bezos had a problem. It was 1997, and Amazon was drowning in its own success. Orders were pouring in faster than his small team could process them. Customer service inquiries were backing up. Inventory was getting mixed up. The company that started in a garage was about to collapse under the weight of manual processes that couldn't scale. Most entrepreneurs would have hired more people. Bezos did something different. He became obsessed with what he called systems thinking. The idea that every task, every process, every decision should be documented, optimized, and eventually automated. He didn't just want to solve today's problems. He wanted to build infrastructure that could handle tomorrow's growth. 27 years later, Amazon processes millions of orders daily with surgical precision. Robots move inventory, algorithms predict demand, automated systems handle customer inquiries. The company that once required manual intervention for every transaction now runs largely on autopilot, generating billions in revenue while Bezos focuses on space exploration. This transformation didn't happen overnight. It started with a simple realization: human effort has limits, but systems can scale infinitely. While competitors were adding headcount, Amazon was adding leverage. While others were working harder, Amazon was working smarter. The secret wasn't technology, though technology helped. The secret was understanding the mathematics of leverage and building systems that multiplied human capability rather than just adding to it. The leverage equation. Most people think about productivity in linear terms. Work twice as hard, get twice the results. Hire twice as many people, double your output. This thinking keeps you trapped in what I call the effort treadmill, constantly running faster just to stay in place. But there's a different equation that changes everything. Output equals skill times effort times leverage factor. Most people focus on the first two variables, getting better at what they do and working harder. Smart operators focus on the third variable, the leverage factor. When your leverage factor is 1, you're trading time for money at a fixed rate. Work 8 hours, get 8 hours of value. When your leverage factor is 10, those same 8 hours produce 80 hours of value. When it's 100, you're creating value that would take weeks of manual effort. This isn't theoretical. Every successful business runs on leverage systems that multiply human input. McDonald's doesn't succeed because they have the best cooks. They succeed because they have systems that let average cooks produce consistent results at massive scale. Netflix doesn't succeed because they have the best customer service reps. They succeed because they've automated most customer interactions while maintaining quality. The AI revolution has democratized this leverage. Tools that once required teams of programmers and massive budgets are now available to individuals for the cost of a monthly subscription. You can build automation systems that would have cost millions just a decade ago. But here's what most people miss. Leverage isn't just about technology. It's about thinking systematically. It's about converting ad hoc effort into repeatable processes. It's about building infrastructure that works whether you're present or not. The freedom paradox. The counterintuitive truth about systems is that they create freedom by imposing constraints. When everything is documented, automated, and optimized, you're free to focus on the work that only you can do. When routine decisions are handled by algorithms, you can spend your time on strategic thinking. When repetitive tasks run themselves, you can invest in growth and innovation. Most people resist this because they confuse systems with bureaucracy. They think documentation means red tape. They think automation means losing control. They think processes mean killing creativity. The opposite is true. Good systems eliminate the friction that prevents creativity. They handle the routine so you can focus on the exceptional. They create predictable foundations that support unpredictable innovation. Consider how Bezos approached this at Amazon. Instead of seeing systems as constraints, he saw them as enablers. Standard operating procedures didn't limit his team's creativity. They freed them to be creative about the things that mattered. Automation didn't reduce human value. It amplified it by handling the mundane work that humans shouldn't be doing anyway. The goal isn't to automate yourself out of a job. It's to automate yourself into a better job. To systematize the work you don't want to do so you can focus on the work you love to do. To build infrastructure that handles today's problems automatically so you can work on tomorrow's opportunities. The myth of the coding requirement. One of the biggest barriers to building leverage systems is the belief that you need to be a programmer to create automation. This myth keeps millions of people trapped in manual processes when they could be building systems that work while they sleep. The reality is that we're living in the golden age of no-code automation. Platforms like Zapier, Make, and dozens of others let you connect different software tools without writing a single line of code. AI assistants can help you design workflows, troubleshoot problems, and optimize performance. What once required a computer science degree now requires only curiosity and persistence. The key is starting with the problems you face every day rather than the tools available to solve them. Don't ask, "What can I automate?" Ask, "What am I doing repeatedly that a machine could handle better?" Don't start with the technology. Start with the pain points. Maybe you spend an hour every week copying data from emails into spreadsheets. That's an automation opportunity. Maybe you manually send follow-up messages to prospects who don't respond. That's a system waiting to be built. Maybe you check multiple dashboards every morning to understand your business performance. That's a workflow that could run itself. The beauty of modern automation tools is that they're designed for normal people, not just programmers. They use visual interfaces, drag and drop functionality, and plain English instructions. If you can use a smartphone, you can build automation systems. But the real breakthrough comes when you combine no-code tools with AI assistance. You can describe what you want to accomplish in natural language, and AI can help you design the workflow, suggest the right tools, and even troubleshoot when things go wrong. You're not just using automation, you're collaborating with AI to build better automation. The task archaeology process. Before you can build systems, you need to understand what you're actually doing with your time. Most people have no idea where their hours go. They know they're busy, but they can't tell you exactly what keeps them busy or which activities create the most value. This is where task archaeology comes in, the process of excavating your daily activities to understand what's worth keeping, what should be eliminated, and what can be automated. It's like conducting an audit of your own productivity, but with a specific focus on finding leverage opportunities. Start by tracking everything you do for 1 week. Not just the big projects, but every email, every phone call, every administrative task, every moment of context switching. Use a simple time tracking app, or just keep a notebook handy. The goal isn't precision, it's awareness. At the end of the week, categorize everything into 3 buckets. First, activities that only you can do: strategic thinking, creative work, relationship building, high-level decision-making. Second, activities that others could do but you're currently handling: data entry, scheduling, routine communications, basic analysis. Third, activities that machines could handle better than humans: calculations, data processing, monitoring, simple decision trees. The first category is where you should spend most of your time. The second category represents delegation opportunities. The third category represents automation opportunities. The magic happens when you systematically move activities from the second and third categories into systems that handle them automatically. But here's the crucial insight. You don't have to automate everything at once. Start with the highest frequency, lowest value tasks. The things you do most often that create the least value are the best candidates for automation. They give you the biggest time savings with the smallest risk. The one-button philosophy. The ultimate goal of any leverage system is what I call one-button execution, the ability to trigger complex workflows with minimal human intervention. Instead of manually performing 15 steps, you click one button and the system handles everything else. This might sound like science fiction, but it's happening in businesses everywhere. A real estate agent clicks one button and a new client gets automatically added to their CRM, receives a welcome email sequence, gets scheduled for a consultation call, and is assigned to the appropriate follow-up workflow. A consultant clicks one button and their monthly report gets generated, formatted, and sent to all clients with personalized insights based on their specific data. The key is thinking in terms of workflows rather than individual tasks. Don't just automate email sending, automate the entire client onboarding process. Don't just automate data entry, automate the entire reporting cycle. Don't just automate scheduling, automate the entire meeting preparation and follow-up sequence. This requires what systems thinkers call end-to-end thinking. You map out the entire process from start to finish, identify every decision point and handoff, then design automation that handles as much as possible while flagging the exceptions that need human attention. The most sophisticated systems include what I call smart alerts. Notifications that only reach you when something requires your specific attention or when performance metrics fall outside acceptable ranges. Instead of constantly monitoring your systems, the systems monitor themselves and tell you when intervention is needed. The dashboard revolution. Information is only valuable if it leads to action. Most people are drowning in data, but starving for insights. They have access to more information than ever before, but they don't know what it means or what to do about it. This is where intelligent dashboards become game changers. Instead of logging into multiple platforms to check different metrics, you get a single view that shows you everything you need to know to make decisions. Instead of spending time gathering data, you spend time interpreting it and acting on it. But the real power comes from predictive dashboards that don't just show you what happened, they show you what's likely to happen next. AI can analyze patterns in your data and alert you to trends before they become problems or opportunities before they disappear. Imagine getting a weekly email that tells you exactly which clients are at risk of churning, which marketing campaigns are performing best, which products are trending up or down, and which team members need support. All the analysis happens automatically. All the insights are presented clearly. All you have to do is decide what actions to take. This isn't just about convenience, it's about competitive advantage. While your competitors are still gathering data manually and making decisions based on gut feelings, you're making data-driven decisions faster and more accurately. While they're reacting to problems after they happen, you're preventing problems before they occur. The compound effect of systematic thinking. As you build more systems, something remarkable happens. You start thinking systematically about everything. You see processes where others see chaos. You spot automation opportunities where others see necessary drudgery. You design solutions where others just endure problems. This systematic thinking becomes a competitive advantage that compounds over time. Each system you build teaches you something about building better systems. Each automation you create reveals new opportunities for automation. Each process you optimize shows you other processes that need optimization. You also start attracting different types of opportunities. Clients and partners begin to see you as someone who gets things done efficiently and reliably. They trust you with bigger projects because they know you have the systems to handle them. They pay premium prices because they value the predictability and quality that your systems deliver. The time you save through automation doesn't just give you more hours, it gives you better hours. Instead of spending your peak energy on routine tasks, you can invest it in creative work, strategic thinking, and relationship building. Instead of being reactive, you can be proactive. Instead of being busy, you can be productive. The human touch integration. The biggest mistake people make when building systems is trying to automate everything, including the things that benefit from human judgment and creativity. The goal isn't to remove humans from the equation, it's to position humans where they add the most value. The best systems combine automation with human insight in strategic ways. Machines handle the data processing, pattern recognition, and routine execution. Humans handle the creative problem-solving, relationship management, and strategic decision-making. The combination is more powerful than either could achieve alone. This requires designing what I call human checkpoints, moments in your automated workflows where human judgment adds value. Maybe it's reviewing AI-generated content before it goes out. Maybe it's making the final decision on which prospects to pursue. Maybe it's adding personal touches to automated communications. The key is being intentional about where you insert human involvement rather than just defaulting to manual processes. Ask yourself, where in this workflow does human judgment create the most value? Then design systems that automatically handle everything else while surfacing the decisions that benefit from your specific expertise. The evolution imperative. Systems aren't set-and-forget solutions. They're living infrastructure that needs to evolve as your business grows and changes. What works at one stage of growth might become a bottleneck at the next stage. What makes sense with current technology might become obsolete as new tools emerge. This is why the best system builders think like engineers. They design for change from the beginning. They build modular systems that can be upgraded piece by piece rather than monolithic systems that have to be replaced entirely. They document their decisions so future improvements can build on past learning. The goal is to create what I call antifragile systems, infrastructure that gets stronger under stress rather than breaking down. When volume increases, the systems scale automatically. When new opportunities arise, the systems adapt quickly. When problems occur, the systems learn and improve. But systems are just the foundation. Once you have infrastructure that multiplies your efforts, you need multiple ways to monetize that leverage. The next chapter reveals how to transform your systematized capabilities into a portfolio of income streams that work around the clock, turning your expertise into assets that pay you while you sleep. Chapter 6: Income Engines. Pat Flynn was about to get fired. It was 2008, the economy was collapsing, and his architecture firm was laying off employees left and right. With a baby on the way and a mortgage to pay, Flynn faced a terrifying reality. His single source of income was about to disappear, and he had no backup plan. Most people in his situation would have panicked, updated their resume, and started networking frantically. Flynn did something different. He took the knowledge he'd accumulated studying for the LEED exam, a green building certification, and turned it into a simple study guide that he sold online for $19.95. That first digital product generated $7,908.55 in its first month. More importantly, it taught Flynn a lesson that would reshape his entire career. Knowledge could be packaged into assets that worked while he slept. One person's expertise could become another person's shortcut, and that transaction could happen automatically, repeatedly, and profitably. 15 years later, Flynn's smart passive income empire generates millions annually through courses, memberships, affiliate partnerships, software tools, and licensing deals. He's built what I call income engines, revenue streams that operate independently, compound over time, and create wealth even when he's not actively working. The architecture job that almost disappeared? Flynn never needed it again. He discovered something more valuable than job security, income diversification that made him anti-fragile in an uncertain economy. But here's what most people miss about Flynn's story. It wasn't about getting lucky with one product. It was about understanding the mathematics of portfolio income and building multiple engines that could run simultaneously. The single point of failure problem. Your job is your biggest financial risk. Not the stock market, not real estate, not cryptocurrency. Your job, that single source of income you depend on for everything, is the most dangerous bet you're making with your financial future. Think about it mathematically. If 100% of your income comes from one source, you have 100% exposure to the risks of that source. Economic downturns, industry disruption, company politics, health issues, or simple bad luck can eliminate your entire income overnight. You're essentially running a portfolio with one asset, which every financial advisor would call insane. Yet this is exactly how most people structure their economic lives. They put all their earning power into one basket, their job, and hope nothing bad happens to that basket. They trade security for vulnerability without realizing it. The AI revolution makes this even more dangerous. As we discussed in earlier chapters, automation is eliminating entire categories of work. The job that feels secure today might not exist in 5 years. The skills that command premium salaries today might be commoditized tomorrow. But here's the opportunity hidden in this threat. The same technologies that are disrupting traditional employment are making it easier than ever to create alternative income streams. The tools that threaten job security can become the foundation of financial independence. The solution isn't to work harder at your job or to find a more secure job. There's no such thing anymore. The solution is to build what I call income engines, revenue streams that operate independently of your time and location, that compound over time, and that create wealth even when you're not actively working. Hash the portfolio approach to earnings. Professional investors never put all their money into one stock. They build diversified portfolios that balance risk and return across multiple assets. Some investments provide steady income, others offer growth potential. Some hedge against inflation, others protect against market crashes. The same principle applies to income. Instead of depending on one source of earnings, you build a portfolio of income streams that work together to create financial stability and growth. Some streams provide immediate cash flow, others build long-term value. Some require active management, others run on autopilot. This isn't about working multiple jobs or becoming a workaholic. It's about creating assets that generate income independently. It's about turning your knowledge, skills, and systems into products that can be sold repeatedly without additional effort. The key insight is understanding the difference between linear income and scalable income. Linear income requires your direct involvement. You work an hour, you get paid for an hour. Scalable income is disconnected from your time. You create something once, and it can generate revenue indefinitely. Most people are trapped in linear income models. Even highly paid professionals like lawyers, consultants, and doctors are essentially trading time for money at premium rates. They might earn more per hour, but they're still constrained by the number of hours they can work. Income engines operate on a different model. You invest time up front to create an asset, a course, a template, a system, a community, and that asset can generate revenue for months or years with minimal ongoing effort. The initial investment is front-loaded, but the returns compound over time. The knowledge to asset transformation. Every professional has accumulated knowledge that others would pay to access. The challenge is transforming that knowledge from something locked in your head into something that can be packaged, sold, and delivered at scale. This transformation happens through what I call knowledge distillation, the process of extracting your expertise, organizing it systematically, and packaging it in formats that create value for others. It's not about sharing everything you know. It's about identifying the specific knowledge that solves specific problems for specific people. The AI revolution has made this process dramatically easier. You can use AI to help organize your thoughts, create outlines, generate examples, and even produce first drafts of content. What used to take months of writing and editing can now be accomplished in weeks or even days. But the real breakthrough comes from understanding that knowledge products don't have to be comprehensive to be valuable. People don't want to know everything you know. They want to solve specific problems they're facing right now. A focused solution to a painful problem is more valuable than a comprehensive guide to an entire field. This is why Flynn's lead study guide was so successful. He didn't try to teach everything about green building. He focused on helping people pass one specific exam. The narrow focus made the product more valuable, not less valuable, because it solved a specific problem completely. The key is identifying what I call knowledge gaps, situations where you know something that others need to know, and the gap between their current knowledge and desired knowledge represents a commercial opportunity. These gaps exist everywhere, but they're often invisible to the people who could fill them. The 7-day asset challenge. One of the biggest barriers to building income engines is perfectionism. People spend months or years planning the perfect product, designing the perfect course, or writing the perfect book. Meanwhile, opportunities pass them by and motivation fades. The antidote is what I call the 7-day asset challenge, the discipline of creating and launching a minimum viable product in 1 week. Not a perfect product, not a comprehensive product, just a product that solves a real problem for real people and can be improved over time. This might sound impossible, but it's entirely achievable when you combine focused effort with AI assistance. You can use AI to help with research, content creation, design, and even technical implementation. What used to require teams of specialists can now be accomplished by one person with the right tools and approach. The key is starting with the smallest possible version of your idea. Instead of creating a comprehensive course, create a single workshop. Instead of writing a full book, create a detailed guide. Instead of building complex software, create a simple template or checklist. The goal isn't to create your magnum opus in 7 days. It's to create something valuable enough that people will pay for it, simple enough that you can complete it quickly, and flexible enough that you can improve it based on customer feedback. This approach forces you to focus on the essential value proposition rather than getting lost in features and complexity. It also gets you real market feedback quickly, which is infinitely more valuable than theoretical planning. Most importantly, it builds momentum. Once you've successfully created and launched one asset, the second one becomes easier. The third one becomes routine. Before you know it, you're building a portfolio of income-generating assets rather than just dreaming about it. The pre-sale validation strategy. The biggest mistake people make when creating income engines is building products that nobody wants to buy. They spend weeks or months creating something based on their assumptions about what the market needs, only to discover that their assumptions were wrong. The solution is pre-sale validation, selling your product before you build it. This might sound backwards, but it's actually the most efficient way to ensure market demand while funding development. Here's how it works. You create a simple landing page describing your proposed product, set up a payment system, and start driving traffic to see if people will actually buy. If they do, you've validated demand and generated cash flow to fund development. If they don't, you've saved yourself weeks of wasted effort. This approach requires a fundamental shift in thinking. Instead of asking, "What should I build?" you ask, "What are people willing to buy?" Instead of building first and selling second, you sell first and build second. The pre-sale approach also creates accountability. When people have paid for something, you're committed to delivering it. This external pressure often provides the motivation needed to push through the inevitable challenges of product creation. AI makes pre-sale validation even more powerful. You can use AI to create compelling landing page copy, generate product mockups, and even create detailed outlines that help potential customers understand exactly what they're buying. The barrier between idea and market test has never been lower. The key is being transparent about the pre-sale nature of the offer. Don't pretend the product already exists. Instead, position it as an opportunity for early supporters to get access at a discount while helping shape the final product. Many customers are happy to participate in this process if the value proposition is clear. The compound growth formula. Individual income engines are valuable, but the real magic happens when you build multiple engines that reinforce each other. This is where the portfolio approach creates exponential rather than linear returns. Each new income stream you create makes the others more valuable. A course can drive membership sales. A A membership can generate consulting leads. Consulting can create licensing opportunities. Templates can become the foundation for software tools. The whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. This compound effect happens through what economists call network effects and cross-selling opportunities. Your existing customers become the best prospects for new products. Your existing products become distribution channels for new offerings. Your existing expertise becomes the foundation for expanded revenue streams. The key is designing your income engines to work together rather than compete with each other. Think of them as a value ladder where each product naturally leads to the next level of engagement. Free content attracts prospects. Low-priced products convert prospects to customers. Higher-priced products serve customers who want more value. Premium services serve customers who want personalized attention. This systematic approach to portfolio building creates what I call customer lifetime value optimization. Instead of making one sale to each customer, you create multiple opportunities to serve them at different price points and engagement levels. The customer gets more value, you get more revenue. Everyone wins. The passive income reality check. Let's address the elephant in the room. Truly passive income doesn't exist. Every income stream requires some level of ongoing attention, whether it's customer service, product updates, marketing, or strategic planning. The goal isn't to eliminate all work, it's to eliminate the direct trading of time for money. The most successful income engines operate on what I call high-leverage maintenance, small amounts of strategic effort that maintain or improve large amounts of revenue. This might be spending a few hours each month updating a course, responding to customer feedback, or optimizing marketing campaigns. The key is understanding the difference between maintenance work and creation work. Creation work is front-loaded and intensive. You invest significant time up front to build the asset. Maintenance work is ongoing but minimal. You invest small amounts of time to keep the asset performing well. This distinction is crucial because it affects how you allocate your time and energy. Once an income engine is established and generating consistent revenue, you can shift most of your attention to creating new engines rather than maintaining existing ones. The goal is to reach what I call portfolio escape velocity, the point where your income engines generate enough revenue to cover your living expenses without requiring full-time attention. This creates the ultimate freedom, the ability to choose how you spend your time based on interest and opportunity rather than financial necessity. The technology leverage multiplier. AI and automation tools have fundamentally changed the economics of income engine creation. Tasks that used to require teams of specialists can now be handled by individuals with the right tools and knowledge. This democratization of capability means that small operators can compete with large organizations. Content creation, which used to be the biggest bottleneck in building information products, can now be accelerated dramatically with AI assistance. You can generate outlines, create first drafts, produce variations, and even optimize for different audiences, all with AI copilots that work at the speed of thought. Design and technical implementation, which used to require expensive specialists, can now be handled with no-code tools and AI-powered platforms. You can create professional-looking landing pages, set up payment systems, build membership sites, and automate customer communications without writing a single line of code. Marketing and customer acquisition, which used to require large budgets and specialized expertise, can now be optimized with AI-powered tools that help you identify target audiences, create compelling messages, and track performance in real time. But the biggest advantage of AI isn't just efficiency, it's the ability to personalize at scale. You can create products that adapt to individual customer needs, deliver customized experiences, and provide personalized recommendations. This level of customization was previously only available to large companies with massive resources. The diversification strategy. Building multiple income engines isn't just about increasing total revenue, it's about reducing risk through diversification. Different income streams respond differently to market conditions, seasonal variations, and economic cycles. When one engine slows down, others can compensate. The key is building engines that are low correlated, meaning they don't all succeed or fail together. If you build multiple courses for the same audience, they're highly correlated. If one fails, they might all fail. But if you build courses for different audiences, consulting services, software tools, and licensing deals, they're likely to perform independently. Geographic diversification also matters. Income engines that serve global markets are less vulnerable to local economic conditions than those that serve only local markets. Digital products have the advantage of being naturally global. You can sell to customers anywhere in the world without additional infrastructure. Temporal diversification is equally important. Some income engines generate immediate cash flow but have limited growth potential. Others build slowly but create long-term value. Some are seasonal. Others are evergreen. A balanced portfolio includes engines that perform well at different time horizons. The goal is creating what Nassim Taleb calls antifragile income, revenue streams that actually benefit from volatility and uncertainty rather than being damaged by them. When markets are disrupted, new opportunities emerge. When industries change, new problems need solving. When technology advances, new tools become available. But income engines are just the beginning. Once you have multiple revenue streams generating consistent cash flow, you need to ensure that wealth reaches the right people and creates the maximum impact. The next chapter reveals the secret to amplifying your influence and attracting opportunities that most people never even know exist, turning expertise into magnetic authority that draws success to you automatically. Chapter 7: Signal Amplify. Alex Hormozi was broke. Not just financially struggling, completely broke. His gym business had failed spectacularly, leaving him with crushing debt and a bruised ego. Most entrepreneurs would have retreated, found a safe job, and given up on their dreams. Hormozi did something different. He started sharing his failures publicly. While others hid their mistakes, Hormozi documented his journey in excruciating detail. He talked about what went wrong, what he learned, and what he was trying next. He shared frameworks, strategies, and hard-won insights with anyone who would listen. He turned his setbacks into content and his lessons into value for others. The response was electric. Other entrepreneurs resonated with his raw honesty and practical wisdom. They started following his journey, implementing his strategies, and sharing their own results. What began as one person's transparent documentation of failure became a movement of business builders learning from each other. Today, Hormozi's companies generate over $100 million annually. His content reaches millions of entrepreneurs worldwide. His books become bestsellers before they're even published. Investment opportunities flow to him constantly. Joint venture partners seek him out. Speaking engagements command premium fees. But here's what most people miss about Hormozi's success. It wasn't built on traditional marketing or advertising. It was built on what I call signal amplification, the systematic process of broadcasting valuable insights that attract opportunities like a magnet. The broke gym owner became a business mogul not by hiding his expertise, but by amplifying it strategically. He understood something that most people never learn. In the attention economy, visibility multiplies value exponentially. The invisible ceiling. You could be the most talented person in your field, but if nobody knows about your talent, it's economically worthless. You could have solutions to problems that millions of people face, but if those people can't find you, your solutions might as well not exist. This is what I call the invisible ceiling, the barrier that keeps talented people trapped at lower levels of success simply because their value isn't visible to the people who could benefit from it most. It's not a skills problem or a strategy problem. It's a signal problem. Think about the best professionals you know personally. Now think about the most famous professionals in the same fields. Are the famous ones necessarily more talented? In most cases, the answer is no. The difference isn't capability, it's visibility. The famous ones have learned to amplify their signal, while the talented ones remain invisible. This dynamic has been accelerated by the digital revolution. In a world where attention is the scarcest resource, those who can capture and hold attention have disproportionate advantages. They get the best opportunities, the highest prices, the most interesting projects, and the most valuable connections. But here's the counterintuitive truth. Building visibility isn't about self-promotion or marketing gimmicks. It's about creating genuine value for others at scale. It's about solving problems publicly so that people associate you with solutions. It's about teaching what you know so that others can benefit from your expertise. The most effective signal amplification doesn't feel like marketing at all. It feels like education, entertainment, or inspiration. People don't follow you because you're trying to sell them something. They follow you because you're helping them become better at something they care about. The authority equation. Authority isn't something you claim. It's something others grant you based on the value you provide. But there's a specific formula for how this authority gets built and recognized in the digital age. The equation is simple. Authority equals expertise times visibility times consistency. You need all three components. Expertise without visibility keeps you invisible. Visibility without expertise makes you a fraud. Expertise and visibility without consistency makes you forgettable. Most people focus exclusively on the expertise component. They become incredibly good at what they do, then wonder why opportunities don't flow to them automatically. They've mastered 1/3 of the equation while ignoring the other 2/3. Others focus on visibility without building genuine expertise. They become influencers without substance, attracting attention but not respect. They might gain followers, but they don't gain authority because their content doesn't create real value. The third group understands all three components but fails at consistency. They create brilliant content sporadically, build momentum, then disappear for months. Their audience forgets about them, and they have to start building recognition all over again. The magic happens when you optimize all three variables simultaneously. You develop genuine expertise in areas that matter to your target audience. You make that expertise visible through content that educates and inspires. You show up consistently so that people come to rely on you as a source of valuable insights. This creates what network theorists call preferential attachment, the tendency for people to connect with nodes that already have many connections. As your authority grows, it becomes easier to attract more attention, better opportunities, and higher value relationships. Success compounds exponentially rather than linearly. The content flywheel strategy. Most people think about content creation as a cost center, something that takes time away from real work. This backwards thinking keeps them trapped in linear income models where they trade time for money at fixed rates. Smart operators understand that content creation is an investment that compounds over time. Each piece of valuable content you create becomes an asset that can attract opportunities indefinitely. Unlike traditional advertising that stops working when you stop paying, great content continues generating value years after you create it. But the real breakthrough comes from understanding how to create content systems rather than just individual pieces. This is where the flywheel concept becomes crucial. Instead of creating random content sporadically, you build systematic processes that generate consistent value while requiring less effort over time. The flywheel starts with what I call flagship content, substantial pieces that demonstrate your expertise and provide significant value. This might be detailed case studies, comprehensive guides, strategic frameworks, or in-depth analyses. The goal is to create content so valuable that people bookmark it, share it, and reference it repeatedly. From each flagship piece, you extract multiple smaller pieces of content. Key insights become social media posts. Interesting data points become infographics. Practical tips become short videos. Frameworks become templates. One substantial piece of content can fuel weeks of social media activity across multiple platforms. This approach solves the biggest challenge most people face with content creation, the constant pressure to come up with new ideas. When you're systematically extracting value from flagship pieces, you always have content to share. The creative pressure shifts from what should I post today to what substantial value should I create this month. The network effect multiplier. Here's where signal amplification gets really powerful. Every person who engages with your content becomes a potential amplifier of your signal. When they share your insights, comment on your posts, or mention your work to others, they're extending your reach exponentially. This is Metcalfe's law in action. The value of a network increases quadratically with the number of connected users. Each new follower doesn't just add 1 unit of value, they add value proportional to all the other people they're connected to. A follower with 1,000 connections is exponentially more valuable than a follower with 100 connections. But this only works if your content is genuinely worth sharing. People don't amplify mediocre insights or self-promotional messages. They amplify content that makes them look smart, helps their audience, or aligns with their values. Your job is to create content so valuable that sharing it enhances their reputation rather than diminishing it. This requires a fundamental shift in how you think about your audience. Instead of seeing them as potential customers, see them as potential collaborators in spreading valuable ideas. Instead of asking, how can I get them to buy from me? Ask, how can I help them succeed in ways that reflect well on both of us? The most successful signal amplifiers understand that their audience's success is their success. When your followers achieve better results because of your insights, they become living testimonials for your expertise. When they share their wins and credit your guidance, they're providing social proof that's infinitely more powerful than any marketing message you could create. The contrarian positioning power. In a world saturated with content, the biggest challenge isn't creating good content, it's creating content that stands out. This is where contrarian positioning becomes your secret weapon. Most people in any field repeat the same conventional wisdom, share the same popular insights, and avoid controversial topics. This creates a sea of sameness where individual voices get lost in the noise. The solution is to identify areas where conventional wisdom is wrong and stake out contrarian positions that challenge popular assumptions. This doesn't mean being contrarian for the sake of attention. It means thinking independently about important topics and sharing insights that others are afraid to voice. It means questioning assumptions that everyone takes for granted. It means offering alternative perspectives on complex problems. Contrarian positioning works because it creates cognitive dissonance, the uncomfortable feeling people get when their existing beliefs are challenged. This discomfort makes your content memorable and shareable. People might not agree with you initially, but they can't ignore you. The key is backing up contrarian positions with evidence, logic, and real-world results. Anyone can make controversial claims. Only people with genuine expertise can make controversial claims that turn out to be correct. When your contrarian positions prove accurate over time, you build a reputation as someone who sees things others miss. This positioning also attracts higher quality attention. Instead of competing for the attention of people who consume generic content, you're attracting people who think independently and value original insights. These are typically the most successful, influential, and well-connected people in any field. The learning in public advantage. One of the biggest barriers to signal amplification is imposter syndrome, the feeling that you're not qualified to teach others or share your insights publicly. This keeps many talented people invisible because they don't feel expert enough to create content. The solution is what I call learning in public, documenting your journey of skill development and sharing insights as you discover them. Instead of waiting until you're an expert, you share what you're learning while you're learning it. This approach has several advantages. First, it eliminates the pressure to be perfect or comprehensive. You're not claiming to be the ultimate authority, you're sharing useful insights from your current level of experience. Second, it creates authentic connection with your audience because they can relate to your learning process. Third, it generates content consistently because you're always learning something new. People often connect more strongly with someone who's one step ahead of them than with someone who's 10 steps ahead. The person one step ahead remembers what it was like to face the challenges they're currently facing. Their advice feels more accessible and actionable. Learning in public also creates accountability for your own development. When you commit publicly to learning something new, you're more likely to follow through. When you share your progress regularly, you maintain momentum even when motivation wanes. The key is being honest about your current level while still providing value. You can share what you're learning without claiming to be an expert. You can document experiments without guaranteeing results. You can ask questions that spark valuable discussions even if you don't have all the answers. The collaboration ladder strategy. Building authority isn't a solo activity. The fastest way to amplify your signal is to collaborate with others who already have established audiences. This is where the collaboration ladder becomes crucial. The ladder starts with small, accessible opportunities and gradually builds to larger, more prestigious platforms. You might begin by commenting thoughtfully on other people's content, contributing to online discussions, or participating in industry forums. These activities help you build relationships and demonstrate your expertise to people who might invite you to larger platforms. The next rung might be guest posting on blogs, participating in podcast interviews, or speaking at local events. These opportunities give you access to established audiences while requiring relatively low commitment from the hosts. You provide value to their audience, and they provide you with exposure to new potential followers. As you build credibility and relationships, you can climb to higher rungs: keynote speaking, major podcast appearances, joint ventures, and strategic partnerships. Each level provides access to larger audiences and more influential connections. The key is approaching collaboration as value creation rather than self-promotion. Instead of asking, "What can I get from this relationship?" ask, "What value can I provide to their audience?" Instead of focusing on what you want to promote, focus on what insights you can share that will genuinely help people. This approach builds what I call relationship capital, the goodwill and trust that makes future collaborations easier and more valuable. When you consistently provide value in collaborative settings, people want to work with you again. They recommend you to others. They think of you when opportunities arise. The compound effect of consistent value. Signal amplification isn't about viral moments or overnight success. It's about the compound effect of consistently providing value over time. Each piece of valuable content you create adds to your reputation. Each helpful interaction builds a relationship. Each insight you share positions you as someone worth following. This compound effect is why consistency matters more than perfection. A good piece of content published regularly is more valuable than a perfect piece of content published sporadically. People need to know they can count on you for ongoing value, not just occasional brilliance. The compound effect also explains why signal amplification gets easier over time. Your first piece of content might reach 10 people. Your 100th piece might reach 10,000 people. Your 1,000th piece might reach 100,000 people. The audience grows, the reach expands, and the opportunities multiply. But the real magic happens when your signal amplification creates what I call opportunity magnetism, the point where valuable opportunities start flowing to you without active pursuit. People seek you out for partnerships, speaking engagements, investment opportunities, and high-value projects. Your reputation does the selling for you. This is the ultimate goal of signal amplification, creating a personal brand so strong that opportunities chase you instead of you chasing opportunities. When you reach this point, you can be selective about the projects you take on, the people you work with, and the problems you choose to solve. But signal amplification is just one component of building antifragile wealth. Once you have multiple income streams and magnetic authority, you need systems to protect and grow that wealth through inevitable market volatility. The next chapter reveals the financial architecture that turns temporary success into permanent security, ensuring your wealth not only survives uncertainty, but actually thrives on it. Chapter 8, Antifragile Wealth. Cathie Wood was watching her life's work crumble. It was March 2020, and the markets were in free fall. Her flagship ARK Innovation ETF had dropped 37% in 3 weeks. Critics who had called her investment strategy reckless and unsustainable were having a field day. Financial media painted her as a cautionary tale of what happens when you bet too heavily on disruptive technology. Most fund managers would have panicked, sold their positions, and retreated to safer investments. Wood did something that seemed insane at the time. She bought more. While others fled from volatility, Wood embraced it. She understood something that most investors miss. In a world of exponential change, volatility isn't your enemy, it's your opportunity. The same market chaos that destroys fragile portfolios can supercharge anti-fragile ones. 18 months later, ARK Innovation had gained over 150%. Wood's reckless strategy had generated billions in returns for investors who stayed the course. The volatility that terrified others had become the engine of extraordinary wealth creation. But here's what most people missed about Wood's success. It wasn't luck or timing. It was a systematic approach to building what Nassim Taleb calls anti-fragile wealth. Financial systems that don't just survive uncertainty, they thrive on it. While most people build portfolios designed to minimize risk, Wood built portfolios designed to maximize opportunity. While others sought stability, she sought asymmetric upside. While others feared change, she positioned herself to profit from it. This is the secret that separates wealth builders from wealth preservers. Understanding that in a rapidly changing world, the biggest risk isn't volatility, it's being too conservative to capture the opportunities that volatility creates. The fragility trap. Most financial advice is designed for a world that no longer exists. A world where careers lasted decades, where industries changed slowly, where inflation was predictable and growth was steady. The advice made sense when the future looked like the past, but it's dangerous when the future is fundamentally different. Traditional wealth-building strategies focus on minimizing downside risk through diversification across asset classes that historically moved independently. Buy some stocks, some bonds, some real estate, maybe some commodities. Rebalance annually. Stay the course. This approach worked brilliantly for the past century because it was built on the assumption that the economic system was fundamentally stable. But that assumption is breaking down. Technology is accelerating the pace of change. Artificial intelligence is disrupting entire industries overnight. Monetary policy is creating asset bubbles and currency debasement. Geopolitical tensions are reshaping global trade. The old correlations between asset classes are breaking down as everything becomes interconnected. In this environment, traditional diversification isn't protection, it's a guarantee of mediocrity. When you spread your bets across assets that all move together during crises, you're not reducing risk. You're just ensuring that you'll participate in every downturn while missing the biggest opportunities. This is what I call the fragility trap, building wealth systems that appear safe but are actually vulnerable to the kind of systemic changes we're experiencing. These systems work fine during normal times but break catastrophically when the rules change. The solution isn't to take more risk, it's to take different risk. It's to build wealth systems that benefit from change rather than being damaged by it. It's to position yourself so that volatility becomes your friend rather than your enemy. The antifragile alternative. Antifragility is a concept that goes beyond resilience or robustness. Resilient systems bounce back from shocks. Robust systems resist shocks. Antifragile systems actually get stronger from shocks. They use volatility as fuel for growth rather than treating it as an obstacle to overcome. In the context of wealth building, antifragility means constructing financial systems that improve when markets become chaotic. Instead of trying to predict which way markets will move, you position yourself to benefit regardless of direction. Instead of seeking stability, you seek optionality, the ability to capture upside while limiting downside. This requires a fundamental shift in how you think about risk and return. Traditional thinking assumes that higher returns require higher risk, so the goal is to find the optimal balance between the two. Antifragile thinking recognizes that some risks actually reduce your overall risk by providing protection against bigger risks. For example, holding some cryptocurrency might seem risky compared to holding cash. But if you believe that central banks will continue printing money and devaluing currencies, then holding only cash is actually the riskier position. The risky asset becomes a hedge against the bigger risk of currency debasement. This principle applies across all asset classes and investment strategies. Sometimes the safest long-term position is the one that appears riskiest in the short term. Sometimes the most dangerous position is the one that feels safest today. The key is understanding the difference between volatility and risk. Volatility is short-term price movement. Risk is the permanent loss of capital. Antifragile systems embrace volatility while minimizing risk. They use short-term chaos to create long-term advantage. The four-bucket architecture. Building anti-fragile wealth requires systematic allocation across different types of assets that serve different purposes in your overall financial architecture. This isn't about traditional diversification. It's about creating a portfolio structure that can adapt to different scenarios while maintaining optionality for extraordinary outcomes. The first bucket is your safety foundation, assets that preserve capital and provide liquidity during emergencies. This includes cash reserves, high-grade bonds, and other low-volatility investments that you can access quickly without significant loss. The goal isn't growth, it's security and optionality. This bucket gives you the confidence to take bigger risks elsewhere because you know your basic needs are covered. The second bucket is your operational engine, investments that generate steady cash flow to fund your lifestyle and business operations. This might include dividend-paying stocks, real estate investment trusts, business investments, or other assets that produce regular income. The goal is to create enough passive income to cover your expenses so that your other investments can compound without being disturbed by withdrawal needs. The third bucket is your growth accelerator, investments positioned to benefit from long-term trends and technological advancement. This includes growth stocks, technology funds, emerging market investments, and other assets that can appreciate significantly over time. The goal is capital appreciation that outpaces inflation and builds long-term wealth. The fourth bucket is your moonshot portfolio, high-risk, high-reward investments that could generate extraordinary returns if they succeed. This might include early-stage startups, cryptocurrency, commodity futures, or other speculative investments. The goal isn't consistent returns. It's asymmetric upside that could transform your financial situation. The magic happens in how these buckets work together. The safety bucket provides stability that allows you to take bigger risks in the moonshot bucket. The operational bucket provides cash flow that reduces pressure on the growth bucket. The growth bucket provides appreciation that can be reallocated to other buckets as opportunities arise. The Kelly Criterion Edge. One of the biggest mistakes people make when building wealth is not understanding position sizing, how much to allocate to each investment opportunity. They either bet too little and miss out on life-changing gains, or they bet too much and risk catastrophic losses. The solution comes from gambling theory, specifically the Kelly Criterion, a mathematical formula that determines the optimal bet size based on the probability of success and the potential payoff. While originally developed for gambling, the Kelly Criterion has profound applications for investment allocation. The formula considers both the likelihood of success and the magnitude of potential gains and losses. It tells you exactly how much to invest in any opportunity to maximize long-term wealth while minimizing the risk of ruin. Most importantly, it scales your position size based on your confidence level and the asymmetry of the opportunity. For high-probability, moderate return investments, Kelly suggests larger position sizes. For low-probability, high-return investments, it suggests smaller position sizes. For negative expected value investments, it suggests zero allocation. This systematic approach removes emotion from allocation decisions and ensures that you're taking appropriate risks based on mathematical principles rather than gut feelings. The Kelly criterion also explains why diversification can be dangerous if taken too far. If you have high confidence in a particular investment and the math supports a large allocation, spreading your money across dozens of mediocre opportunities will reduce your returns. Conversely, if you're uncertain about most opportunities, concentration becomes dangerous even if individual investments look attractive. The key insight is that optimal allocation depends on the specific characteristics of each opportunity, not on arbitrary diversification rules. A portfolio with 3 carefully chosen, high-conviction investments might be safer than a portfolio with 30 randomly selected investments. The automation advantage. One of the biggest barriers to building antifragile wealth is emotional decision-making. Fear and greed cause people to buy high and sell low, chase performance, and abandon strategies at exactly the wrong time. The solution is to automate as many investment decisions as possible, removing emotion from the equation. This starts with systematic allocation rules that automatically distribute income across your 4 buckets based on predetermined percentages. When money comes in, it gets allocated automatically without requiring conscious decisions. This ensures consistent investment behavior regardless of market conditions or emotional state. Rebalancing should also be automated based on time intervals or percentage thresholds. When one bucket grows beyond its target allocation, the excess gets redistributed to underweight buckets. This forces you to sell high and buy low systematically, capturing gains from volatility rather than being damaged by it. Dollar cost averaging can be automated for regular investments, smoothing out short-term volatility while building positions over time. This is particularly powerful for volatile assets where timing the market is difficult, but long-term trends are favorable. Tax loss harvesting can be automated to capture tax benefits from market volatility. When investments decline, losses can be realized for tax purposes while maintaining market exposure through similar investments. This turns market downturns into tax advantages. The goal is to create investment systems that operate independently of your emotions, biases, and day-to-day distractions. The best investment decisions are often the ones that feel uncomfortable in the moment but prove wise over time. Automation helps you make those decisions consistently. The Insurance Foundation. Antifragile wealth isn't just about maximizing upside, it's about protecting against catastrophic downside that could destroy decades of progress. This is where insurance becomes crucial, not as an investment, but as a foundation that enables more aggressive wealth-building strategies. The most important protection is against the loss of your earning ability. Disability insurance protects against injuries or illnesses that prevent you from working. Life insurance protects your dependents against the loss of your income. These aren't investments. They're risk transfers that prevent single events from destroying your financial future. Liability insurance protects against lawsuits and claims that could wipe out your assets. As your wealth grows, you become a more attractive target for litigation. Umbrella policies provide additional protection beyond standard homeowners and auto insurance limits. Professional liability insurance protects against claims related to your work or business activities. This is particularly important if you're building income engines or providing services to clients. The cost is minimal compared to the potential exposure. The key insight is that insurance allows you to take bigger risks with your investments because you've protected against the catastrophic risks that could force you to liquidate everything. When you know that disability, death, or lawsuits won't destroy your family's financial security, you can afford to be more aggressive with your wealth-building strategies. Insurance also provides peace of mind that enables better decision-making. When you're not worried about catastrophic scenarios, you can focus on optimizing for growth rather than just avoiding losses. The lifestyle inflation trap. One of the biggest threats to building anti-fragile wealth is lifestyle inflation, the tendency to increase spending as income increases. This trap is particularly dangerous for people building multiple income streams because rising income can mask the fact that rising expenses are consuming all the additional cash flow. The mathematics are brutal. If you save 10% of your income and your lifestyle costs increase at the same rate as your income, you'll never build meaningful wealth, regardless of how much you earn. High-income professionals often have less financial security than moderate-income savers because they've trapped themselves in expensive lifestyles that require constant income to maintain. The solution is to pre-commit to savings rates that increase as income increases. Instead of letting lifestyle expand to consume additional income, you systematically allocate percentage increases to wealth building. This creates a virtuous cycle where higher income leads to higher savings rates, which leads to faster wealth accumulation. One effective strategy is to live on a fixed percentage of your income, regardless of how much you earn. If you commit to living on 50% of your income, then doubling your income automatically doubles your savings rate. This approach scales naturally and prevents lifestyle inflation from consuming your wealth-building capacity. Another approach is to automate savings increases whenever income increases. If you get a raise, promotion, or new income stream, immediately increase your automated savings by the same percentage. This captures the additional income for wealth building before lifestyle inflation can consume it. The goal is to maintain optionality by keeping your lifestyle costs well below your income capacity. This gives you the freedom to take risks, pursue opportunities, and weather downturns without being forced into desperate decisions by fixed expenses. The Freedom Number Formula. The ultimate goal of building anti-fragile wealth is reaching what I call your freedom number, the amount of assets that generate enough passive income to cover your lifestyle costs indefinitely. This is the point where work becomes optional rather than necessary, where you can choose opportunities based on interest rather than financial pressure. Calculating your freedom number requires understanding both your annual expenses and the sustainable withdrawal rate from your investment portfolio. The traditional rule of thumb is 4%, meaning you need 25 times your annual expenses invested to achieve financial independence. But this assumes traditional portfolio allocations and historical market conditions. Anti-fragile portfolios can often support higher withdrawal rates because they're designed to benefit from volatility rather than being damaged by it. Income-producing assets in your operational bucket might support 6 to 8% withdrawal rates. Growth assets in your accelerator bucket might appreciate faster than inflation over time. Moonshot investments might occasionally generate windfalls that reset your entire financial situation. The key is building multiple pathways to financial independence rather than depending on a single strategy. Traditional financial independence depends on accumulating enough assets to support 4% withdrawals. Anti-fragile financial independence combines asset accumulation with income engine development, business building, and asymmetric investment strategies. This diversified approach reduces the amount of assets needed for financial independence because you're not depending entirely on investment returns. If your income engines generate half your expenses, you only need enough assets to cover the other half. If your business generates significant cash flow, you need even fewer investment assets. The freedom number becomes a moving target that gets easier to reach as you develop multiple income sources and anti-fragile investment strategies. Instead of needing $2 million in traditional investments, you might achieve the same freedom with $500,000 in investments plus income engines that generate $50,000 annually. But reaching your freedom number is just the beginning. True anti-fragile wealth isn't about achieving financial independence and then maintaining it. It's about building systems that continue growing and adapting long after you've achieved basic security. The final chapter reveals how to turn everything you've learned into a perpetual cycle of reinvention that keeps you ahead of every wave of change, no matter how dramatic or unexpected. Chapter 9. Ride Forever. Elon Musk was supposed to fail 3 times over. In 2008, Tesla was burning through cash with no profitable cars in sight. SpaceX had suffered 3 consecutive rocket failures and was down to its last launch attempt. The financial crisis was crushing both companies simultaneously. Any rational person would have picked one company to save and let the other die. Musk did something that seemed impossible. He doubled down on both. Instead of retreating, he poured his remaining personal fortune into keeping both companies alive. Instead of simplifying, he added complexity by pursuing revolutionary manufacturing techniques and reusable rocket technology. Instead of playing it safe, he bet everything on technologies that didn't yet exist. But here's what made Musk's gamble different from reckless speculation. He had built systems that could adapt and evolve faster than his competitors could copy them. Tesla wasn't just an electric car company, it was a software company that happened to make cars. SpaceX wasn't just a rocket company, it was a manufacturing revolution that happened to build spacecraft. When the Model S succeeded, Tesla used the same software-driven approach to build the Model 3, Model Y, and Cybertruck. When Falcon 9 achieved reusability, SpaceX used the same iterative engineering to build Falcon Heavy, Starship, and Starlink. Each success became the foundation for the next breakthrough. Today, Musk runs 6 companies simultaneously: Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, The Boring Company, xAI, and X. Each company leverages AI, automation, and first principles thinking to solve problems that others consider impossible. Each success funds and informs the others. Each breakthrough opens new possibilities that didn't exist before. This is what it looks like to ride forever, to build systems so robust and adaptable that each wave of change makes you stronger rather than threatening your position. Musk didn't just survive the AI revolution, he helped create it. He didn't just adapt to technological change, he accelerated it. The principles you've learned in this book are the same ones that enabled Musk's seemingly impossible success. The difference between dreamers and builders isn't vision, it's systematic execution of leverage principles that compound over time. The compound loop revealed. Every chapter in this book has been building toward this moment, the revelation of how all these principles work together to create exponential rather than linear results. The secret isn't in any single technique or strategy. It's in how they reinforce each other in an endless cycle of improvement. It starts with mindset shift, the fundamental rewiring of how you see the world. When you stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like a leverage builder, you notice opportunities that were invisible before. Problems become possibilities, uncertainty becomes upside, change becomes competitive advantage. This new mindset guides your opportunity radar, the systematic scanning for value gaps that AI is creating faster than markets can fill them. Instead of waiting for opportunities to find you, you develop intelligence systems that help you spot them while they're still emerging. You see patterns that others miss because you're looking through a different lens. Your enhanced perception guides skill stack development, the strategic combination of capabilities that become rare and valuable when blended together. Instead of competing on single expertise that AI can replicate, you build unique combinations that amplify each other. Each new skill makes the others more powerful. Your growing capabilities enable leverage systems, the infrastructure that multiplies your output without requiring additional hours. You convert ad hoc effort into repeatable processes. You automate routine tasks so you can focus on creative work. You build systems that work while you sleep. Your systematic leverage powers income engines, the portfolio of revenue streams that operate independently of your time and location. You turn knowledge into assets. You create value ladders that serve customers at multiple price points. You build wealth that compounds automatically. Your diversified income funds antifragile wealth, the financial architecture that thrives on volatility rather than being damaged by it. You position yourself to benefit from change rather than resist it. You turn uncertainty into opportunity and chaos into competitive advantage. But here's the crucial insight. Each component strengthens all the others. Better mindset leads to better opportunities. Better opportunities guide better skill development. Better skills enable better systems. Better systems generate more income. More income funds better investments. Better investments provide more security and optionality, which enables better mindset. This creates what systems theorists call a positive feedback loop, a cycle where each improvement amplifies the next improvement. The compound effect isn't just mathematical, it's systematic. Each revolution of the cycle happens faster and generates bigger results than the last. The leverage revolution. What you've learned in this book represents a fundamental shift in how value gets created in the modern economy. For the first time in history, individuals have access to the same leverage tools that were once reserved for large corporations. You can automate processes, analyze data, reach global audiences, and scale operations without massive teams or capital. This democratization of leverage is the real AI revolution. It's not just about machines getting smarter, it's about humans getting more powerful. The same technologies that threaten traditional jobs are creating unprecedented opportunities for those who understand how to harness them. You now control leverage knobs that didn't exist 5 years ago. You can use AI to multiply your creative output, automate your routine tasks, and optimize your decision-making. You can build global businesses from your laptop, serve customers on every continent, and generate income while you sleep. This isn't theoretical, it's practical. The tools exist today, the opportunities are real. The only question is whether you'll use them or let others use them against you. The choice is stark: become a leverage builder or remain a leverage victim. Master these tools or be replaced by them. Surf the wave or be crushed by it. But here's what most people miss. The leverage revolution isn't just about technology. It's about thinking systematically, acting strategically, and building infrastructure that compounds over time. The technology is just the amplifier. The real power comes from understanding how to orchestrate human creativity, machine capability, and systematic processes into results that none could achieve alone. The relationship dividend. The most unexpected benefit of building leverage systems isn't financial, it's relational. When you're no longer trapped in the time for money exchange, when you're not constantly stressed about income security, when you have systems that handle routine work automatically, you become a different person in your relationships. You have more time for the people who matter most. Instead of working nights and weekends, you can be present for family dinners, school events, and spontaneous adventures. Instead of being distracted by urgent tasks, you can give your full attention to important conversations. You have more emotional bandwidth for empathy and generosity. When you're not worried about your own financial security, you can focus on helping others achieve theirs. When your systems are generating passive income, you can afford to be generous with your time, knowledge, and resources. You become a mentor rather than just a competitor. Instead of hoarding opportunities, you can share them. Instead of protecting your knowledge, you can teach it. Instead of climbing ladders, you can build them for others. This shift transforms every relationship in your life. Your spouse sees you as a partner rather than a provider under pressure. Your children see you as present rather than perpetually busy. Your friends see you as generous rather than constantly calculating. Your colleagues see you as collaborative rather than competitive. The financial benefits of leverage are obvious, but the relational benefits are profound. Money can buy freedom, but freedom enables love. Security provides the foundation for generosity. Abundance creates the capacity for service. The creative liberation. When you're no longer trading time for money, when your basic needs are covered by passive income, when you have systems that handle routine work automatically, something remarkable happens. You're free to pursue work that actually matters to you. Instead of taking projects because you need the money, you can choose projects because they align with your values. Instead of optimizing for short-term cash flow, you can optimize for long-term impact. Instead of competing in crowded markets, you can create entirely new categories. This creative liberation is where the real magic happens. When you're not constrained by immediate financial pressure, you can take bigger risks, pursue longer-term visions, and tackle problems that others consider unsolvable. You can afford to fail because failure won't threaten your security. You can self-fund passion projects without seeking external permission or investment. You can experiment with new business models, explore emerging technologies, and test unconventional approaches. You can follow your curiosity wherever it leads because you're not dependent on any single outcome for survival. This freedom to experiment and create is what separates entrepreneurs from employees, artists from craftspeople, innovators from imitators. It's not about having more money, it's about having more options. It's not about working less, it's about working on what matters most. The most successful people in any field are those who can afford to optimize for impact rather than income, for meaning rather than money, for legacy rather than lifestyle. Leverage systems provide the foundation for this optimization by removing financial constraints from creative decisions. The diminishing effort paradox. Here's one of the most counterintuitive aspects of building leverage systems. The more successful you become, the less effort is required to maintain that success. This violates most people's assumptions about how work and results are related. In traditional models, more results require more effort. Work twice as hard, get twice the results. This linear relationship keeps most people trapped in constant hustle because they believe that stopping the effort will stop the results. But leverage systems operate on a different principle. The initial effort is front-loaded and intensive. You invest significant time and energy to build the infrastructure. But once the systems are established, they require minimal maintenance while generating maximum results. Your first income engine might take months to build and launch. Your 10th income engine might take days because you've systematized the process. Your first automation workflow might require weeks of trial and error. Your 100th workflow might be implemented in hours because you understand the patterns. This is what I call the diminishing effort paradox. The more systems you build, the easier it becomes to build additional systems. Each success teaches you something that makes the next success faster and more efficient. Each automation you create reveals opportunities for additional automation. The compound effect applies to capability development, not just wealth accumulation. Each skill you master makes related skills easier to learn. Each system you build makes similar systems faster to implement. Each success makes bigger successes more achievable. This creates a virtuous cycle where effort decreases while results increase. You work smarter rather than harder. You focus on high-leverage activities rather than busy work. You become more selective about opportunities because you can afford to be. The perpetual reinvention engine. The ultimate goal isn't to build one successful system and then coast on it forever. Markets change, technologies evolve, and opportunities shift. The goal is to build what I call a perpetual reinvention engine, the capability to adapt and evolve continuously without starting from scratch each time. This is what separates truly anti-fragile wealth builders from those who achieve temporary success. They don't just ride one wave, they develop the ability to spot and surf every wave that comes along. They don't just master one set of skills, they master the meta skill of learning and adapting quickly. Elon Musk exemplifies this principle. He didn't just build one successful company, he built the capability to build successful companies repeatedly. Each venture teaches him something that makes the next venture more likely to succeed. Each industry he enters benefits from lessons learned in previous industries. The same principle applies to your leverage systems. The mindset that helps you spot opportunities in one market will help you spot opportunities in other markets. The skills that create value in one context can be recombined to create value in different contexts. The systems that automate one type of work can be adapted to automate other types of work. This perpetual reinvention capability is your ultimate insurance against obsolescence. No matter how dramatically technology changes, no matter how thoroughly AI disrupts existing industries, no matter how completely markets shift, you'll have the tools and mindset needed to adapt and thrive. The key is viewing each success as a stepping stone rather than a destination. Each achievement provides resources and knowledge for the next achievement. Each mastery becomes the foundation for new mastery. Each wave you ride successfully positions you to catch the next wave. Your 60-minute leverage sprint. Knowledge without action is worthless. Everything you've learned in this book means nothing unless you apply it systematically. The difference between dreamers and builders isn't information, it's implementation. Right now, before you close this book, before you get distracted by other priorities, before you convince yourself you'll start tomorrow, schedule a 60-minute leverage sprint in your calendar. This isn't planning time or research time, it's action time. In the first 15 minutes, audit your current mindset. Write down 3 beliefs about work, money, or technology that might be limiting your ability to see opportunities. For each limiting belief, write down a more empowering alternative. This isn't positive thinking, it's strategic reframing based on the principles you've learned. In the next 15 minutes, identify one specific opportunity gap that you could potentially fill. Use the 3 tells framework. Look for task redundancy, data abundance, or decision latency in your industry or area of expertise. Don't worry about whether you're qualified to solve it. Focus on whether it's a real problem that people would pay to solve. In the third 15 minutes, design a minimum viable experiment to test your opportunity hypothesis. This might be creating a simple landing page, conducting problem interviews, or building a basic prototype. The goal isn't perfection, it's validation. You want to test your assumption with minimal time and money investment. In the final 15 minutes, take the first concrete action toward implementing your experiment. Send the first email, create the first piece of content, or build the first component. Don't plan the entire project. Just take the first step that moves you from thinking to doing. This 60-minute sprint won't transform your life overnight, but it will start the compound loop that can transform your life over time. The key is momentum. Once you start moving, it becomes easier to keep moving. Once you start building, it becomes easier to keep building. The wave is here. The AI revolution isn't coming, it's here. The opportunities aren't theoretical, they're real. The tools aren't experimental, they're proven. The only question is whether you'll use them or be used by them. Every day you wait is a day that early movers are building advantages that will be harder to overcome later. Every month you delay is a month that leverage systems could have been compounding in your favor. Every year you postpone is a year of freedom and opportunity that you'll never get back. But here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. You're not going to feel ready. You're never going to have perfect information. You're never going to eliminate all risk. You're never going to find the perfect opportunity at the perfect time with perfect resources. Readiness is a myth. Perfect timing is a fantasy. Ideal conditions are an excuse. The people who succeed aren't those who wait for perfect conditions. They're those who create conditions through action. They don't wait for opportunities to find them. They create opportunities through systematic effort. They don't hope for luck. They manufacture luck through preparation and persistence. The wave is here, building momentum, creating opportunities for those bold enough to paddle hard and skilled enough to stand tall. You can watch from the shore, analyzing and planning and preparing. Or you can grab your board, paddle into position, and ride the wave of your lifetime. Fortune favors the builder, not the bystander. The future belongs to those who act today, not those who plan for tomorrow. The shockwave ahead isn't just a threat to avoid, it's an opportunity to seize. The mindset shift isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have for survival and success. The opportunity radar isn't just a tool, it's a competitive weapon. The skill stack isn't just personal development, it's professional insurance. The leverage systems aren't just efficiency improvements, they're freedom generators. The income engines aren't just side hustles, they're wealth builders. The signal amplification isn't just marketing, it's magnetic authority. The antifragile wealth isn't just financial planning, it's life insurance against uncertainty. Everything is connected, everything compounds, everything starts with your next action. The wave is here, your board is ready. The only question left is, will you ride it or watch others ride it past you? The choice is yours. The time is now. The wave won't wait. Paddle hard, stand tall, ride forever.